All right, guys, I've been talking a lot about mini retirements, posting a lot of stuff on here, and I figured, you know what, it's time that I kind of explain myself about how I did this. I can't really prove to you guys because this is the first year I've actually started documenting it. Last year, I went and videotaped a whole bunch of stuff about, we were gone for like a month and a half, me and my kids, and I got a brand new iPhone 10, the iPhone X, I guess, and when I transferred my iPhone 8 over to the 10, all the footage got lost and it was horrible. But I've been doing this shit, doing this lifestyle, and I figured I wanted to tell you guys how I did it and how you can possibly do it too. I don't know what your lifestyle design is, what you're doing, but I want to share some stuff with you and see if it makes a little bit of sense. So tune in and here we go. Welcome to another edition of Up and In It. I'm your host, Adrian Babashoff, and if you're new here, welcome as well. And if you're wondering what the show's about, it is dedicated to creating a lifestyle design that contributes to bettering the life of people and planet, exploring alternatives to the daily grind through liberation and independence, moving you from surviving to thriving and living life raw. It's a little late tonight, so got the kiddo to bed, got everybody medicated, so we're going to jump right in. So you guys, how did I do it? What did I do? And there's a lot of stuff on here that I've spoke about in other podcasts, other episodes, and I don't want to beat the bush, but I just kind of want to tell a story, as they say in Hawaii, talk story, and kind of give you guys some influence and some, I guess there's a lot of people who try to fucking act like something they're not, try to take pictures on Ferraris and shit, and I guarantee you my story's not like, oh wow, this was wonderful, it fucking sucked. It really sucks. And I think that in order to get ahead and do something as far as the monetary, especially for you guys who want to get rich, you guys and gals, that shit's hard, dude. That's why I don't want to ever be a millionaire. Unless I won the lottery or something, I'll be fine with it, but I am not going to go through that work. What I love is my freedom, and I love my independence, and that also could be taken away too. This is not utopia. This is not like it's a perfect fucking system here, you know? It's a perfect system. I'm eating fruits and biscuits. You know, Danny Elfman, guys, Oingo Boingo, that motherfucker gets me. But anyways, let's jump into it. So what did I have to do? I had to create a space. I had to create time. I had to realize, I had to identify the problems. And then I had to identify the solutions. I had to come up with these things. So how did I do that? So first of all, there was no time in the fucking beginning, okay? This is my 6th year. For those of you who aren't, who haven't been following me, you know, on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube and all that, this is my 6th year. And I finally, that's why I'm doing this whole show, is I realized, I was like, dude, what do you got? What do you have to give people? If you're going to start a podcast or a show, like, what is it that you can actually show people? And you guys don't know that this is my very 6th year, and I'm going to continue to do this every year. So it was not peaches and cream, man. It was 7 days a week. It was some hard ass shit. There's no glory here other than what I've built for myself now, and I need to improve and go further on it. And that's exactly what it is that I'm doing, and I want to take you guys on the journey. So yeah, I had to figure out time. If somebody asked me, well, Adrian, I want to do what you're doing. I want to only work 9 to 8 months out of the year, and I just want to fart off for the rest of the 3-4 months, you know, enjoy my summers every year. What do I got to do? Well, first of all, you got to get yourself some time, and that's very, very difficult when you're in the rat race, when you're in the throes of things, when you're in the wheel, as it said, the cycle. I call it the hurricane. You got to start figuring out, you got to start identifying what are the problems, what are the solutions, what is holding me back. I think a lot of it, I'd like to say, is that, God, I don't want to really come and say this, but a lot of people I've been talking to, a lot of people I've been meeting is that, and listening to, it comes down to laziness, man. Like, I'm sorry to say that, and I've been told too, like, that I beat myself up and I beat other people up. But honestly, and really, I hate that saying, you know, to tell you the truth, honestly, like, yeah, please do. Stop fucking lying and just tell me the goddamn truth. But to be completely honest, you guys, I think that the majority of people, and it could be one of you guys too, and me on some levels too. Like, I don't want to work till midnight. I don't want to live off 5 hours, 6 hours of sleep, you know? Yeah, but how are you going to get out of this thing? What are you going to do? And I think that people, including myself sometimes, we are fucking just down outright lazy. And I don't think you need someone like me or anybody else to tell you whether you're lazy or not. I think you kind of know it, and you know it for yourself. If you're not out there doing and making things happen, if you're talking about shit, but you're not actually doing something about it, and you're gassing yourself up to, like, with others to find support and why the world sucks and why you're not doing shit, you know, I don't know, dude. That's like, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's your problem, and you have to cope with that, and you're going to have to figure out what it is that you want, because in the end, it's all about you. There's nothing I can say or anybody else can say. You know what you're going through, and hopefully you know what you want. And that's the scary part, is I see a lot of people, and I hear what they're saying, and I ask them questions, what do you want? And a lot of people don't know what they want. And I've talked about that in other podcasts, so I don't want to beat that one up. So in order to create time, I identified problems. I saw where all my time was getting milked out, and things like meal prepping, things like exercise, you know. But let's start off with base one. Like, meal prepping is like a thing, especially when you're a single father like me. If those of you who don't know, I'm a single father with a special needs 11-year-old still in diapers, blah, blah, blah. You guys probably heard it before. But it takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of time. And the thing I've said in other podcasts as well is that do yourself a favor. If you think I'm full of shit on time management, just time yourself on things that you're doing and just see where all, like, do it like a journal and see where all that time is going. And what time do you devote towards yourself or your children or your pet? Like my dog's sitting down, you know, sleeping by. She's probably going to start snoring anytime. She's she's an 04, so she's an old dog. But where's that time all going, and what are you investing it in? What's the importance of, like, say, health? How are you supposed to perform at optimal fucking speed and capacity if your health is not great, if your health is not good, at least just good? So we put emphasis on the wrong type of things, and I really learned a lot from the 4-hour week, whatever that guy's name is. My God, I can't remember his name. The 4-hour, what is his name? Now you guys are going to make me look shit up. Let's see here. Tim Ferriss. There it is. Thank you. Tim Ferriss. It taught me a lot where he would hack things. And the 4-hour work week, 4-hour health, 4-hour chef. He's got all this stuff. I didn't really learn about him till about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And he's doing exactly what it is that I'm doing. Check him out, man. I have no problems referring you guys over to somebody else. I think that he's got some wonderful stuff that can change your life, as well with my show as well. There's some things that I do differently. I don't quite understand them. I haven't followed them enough to really recommend them entirely, but I think there's some good shit that you can grab from them. But that's the same thing that me and Tim Ferriss are doing, is we're just taking a look, and we're going to go into some details too, like thinking outside the box and doing things different. So identifying your problems and finding out what the hell was going wrong, buying yourself more time, as I've said before too in my podcast, to be able to finish a thought. And if you know what I'm talking about, it's when you're just like, you're trying to figure out a puzzle, right? A problem. And you just keep brooding on it. But then other things take away. They start stealing from you. And then you divert from that. And that's where I look at is getting the time to be able to figure out what the hell is going on and to come up with solutions. Is you need to figure out where all the time, energy is spent. And I think it's not just on like physical goods or monetary and stuff too. I think it's a lot psychological, where you're thinking about what other people think of you, what you think of you, the depression or I don't know, just all the weird thoughts that go inside of our mind. Sometimes, I have a circus brain, so it never stops. But sometimes I find myself focusing on the wrong type of shit. Instead of focusing on the solutions, I'm focusing on the problems. So That's what I did through things like meal planning and just basically time management. So one of the things I know that has been spinning in my mind that one of the monkeys that always gets me is money, like bills and things like that. And I've said this before in other podcasts, but the thing that really is my saving grace was working 7 days a week and just working my ass off, devoting all my time into making and saving my money to get myself an emergency fund. Once you have this emergency fund, it's a game changer, guys. It changes everything. You just got to remember that it's there. When you start freaking out, you can look at it and go, hey, you know what? I'm still good. Even if I didn't work for whatever it is, 3 months, 6 months, a year, I've got myself up to a year where I wouldn't have to worry about anything. And it definitely relieves a lot of stress and gives you that mental clarity, mental time to actually think about what it is else that you want to do. So the other thing I would like to say is I've used my time off when I did find my time and I did figure out how to get that, and I got it down, and now I have free time. I'm sitting there, look, I don't have to worry about shit, and I just free think and sit there. What I did is, instead of just farting off and not doing shit, I started thinking, how can I perfect my skills? How can I perfect my lifestyle design? What is it that I need for next year? So the work's not over. Like I would say your first year, right? Your first year, you're like, hey, I got all this time. I'm finally able to take a mini retirement. I'm just going to fart off. I don't know what works for you, but I know what works for me, again, is that I spent that whole time off just focusing on how I'm going to do next year better. I didn't go off and just do nothing. I actually worked, but I worked on myself. I worked on my spirituality. I worked on monetary planning, on everything, financials, everything, friends, stuff, like what is going on and how can I perfect this? Just spent all my free time trying to come up with a design that fit myself. So the one thing I found too is that there's a need for speed. Time is of the essence. It is definitely a time thing. We did not get into this system of ourselves that we've allowed ourselves to get stuck into. We didn't get here overnight, and we sure as hell are not going to get out overnight. And I think that's the bullshit fucking schemes that I see a lot of YouTubers and everything. I'm not going to mention names, but everywhere you see this get rich quick, everything's quick. Just this is how you make $1,000 a day. And I'm looking going, dude, it just does not happen that way. There's so many variables and things that could happen. We need to take our time and figure out what it is, get everything in order, but we need to know that time is of the essence. If you were going to sit there and you're going to work 8 hours a day at a 9-to-5 job or as a business owner and not put the time in to work on yourself, your health, your education, your fitness, your mindset and everything, monetary and all that, if you're not going to put that time in to get out, you're going to be stuck, in my opinion, for the rest of your life. As I said, we didn't get here overnight. We're not going to get out of here overnight, but we sure as hell are not going to get out of here by working, say, 1 hour a day. Yes, you may make some footsteps, some headway, but you got to look at the time. Again, I don't know what your lifestyle is. Mine is very difficult with a special needs kid. But if you want to get out and do something, you're going to have to work your fucking ass off, man. You're going to have to learn to love to eat shit. And I know that's drastic, and I know that's very hard to swallow, but it is pretty much eating shit. When you see other people just having a wonderful time, it could fucking ruin relationships, which has ruined mine. There's so many things that could happen. But if you want to stay stuck and you want to keep going, living just to survive, I don't know. I feel like I'm stepping boundaries, so I'm sorry if I've offended anybody. But I think I would like to, as martial arts, I'd like to put the energy back on you, and only you know what you need to do. And you only know if you're unhappy and if there's things that you need to change. And I'm just here to tell you on that message, like, I don't want to be a dick here, but I just, you're going to have to put some work in, and you only know what that is. And the way that I know this is that, like, market, we're at September, 19th, 2019. Watch how the years just go by. Watch how another year goes by, and another year, and another year. And you're like, you know what? Things are going to get better. I'm going to change some stuff around. And sometimes, and more than not, it doesn't really change much at all. So I think I've beaten that one up. So let's talk about some good shit. The way my mini retirements are possible was completely thinking outside the box. Completely. Swimming against the grain. And I've said this in other podcasts too, but I spent all of my time 7 days a week. And granted, back then I had the Xbox taking care of my children, and she helped me out a lot. And it wasn't her bag, so we ended up separating. But me having that time when I did then helped me to figure out a lot of details and a lot of strategies. And that's what I did constantly, man. Especially when I found out I had a special needs kid. It was like, I gotta get some stuff going on here. But thinking outside the box, I've said this in other podcasts, so I'll make this one brief as well, is that I closed some of the biggest deals in my life because I went against the grain, because I thought outside the box, because I had that time to go home when I didn't close a deal and sit and think about it. For those of you guys, 9-to-5ers probably won't understand this, but for most of you entrepreneurs, you would be in a bidding war is basically what I call it. It's a fucking all-out right fucking fight. And everybody's got to say their business, you know. There's a meeting where there's sometimes like shit. I've walked out of somewhere, there's like 30 different contractors, you know, bidding against each other, and the owners or representatives are sitting there and everyone's just trying to fight for attention. It just sucks. But I've been in situations where there's only like 5 other contractors and we all get to say our piece. But what I found was listening that everybody was saying, the contractors, you know, basically were trying to sell the same shit. And what I did is I learned to stand out of the herd, say something completely different, and think constantly 7 days a week. What is it that I would want to hear? What is it do I think that the client wants to hear? They want security. They want a warranty. They want somehow, basically, I guess, to sell anybody anything, they want the truth. They want the truth, and they want confidence. Everybody responds better to everybody responds to confidence pretty good. The truth, what was it that Mama Strega, my mom, told me today? It was Terrence McKenna said, finding the truth is not actually the issue. It's facing the truth once you find it. Jeez, man, that's hardcore right there. I'm all up for it though. Like I said on the show, my lifestyle design, everything about me, I may fuck something up. I may fuck this whole thing up. So either way, you guys are in for a big old show. But no, thinking outside that box and being yourself and being honest and not trying to sell a fucking lie. That's when you can look somebody dead in their fucking eye and you can tell them, look, you hire me or you put your trust in me, I will come through and I will make shit happen. And that's my favorite thing. Here's how I'll make it happen. I'll spell it out in plain English. I'll show you some videos. One of my best techniques for my business was, you know what? I'm going to post your job on Facebook. I'm going to post it on all social media platforms, and you have the power to either wreck me or tell everybody how great I am. Fuck Better Business Bureau, fuck Yelp, fuck all that shit. I'm going to give you the power to be, and I have, if you guys understand, you watched my business ones, I think it was I take Facebook and I post my jobs on friends of whatever city around me. And I've got exposure to like sometimes like, I think like 80,000 people. Like there's a lot of views, there's a lot of people watching that shit. So yeah, they can ruin my business or I can show them how awesome I am. So any ways that if you're an entrepreneur, any way that you can gain trust by telling the truth, feeling confident in yourself. And I think that goes with anything in life. Like, as I said earlier, like to be honest and tell you the truth. It's like, yeah, let's get that shit out. That's what everybody wants most of the time. So some of the hacks that I want to tell you guys about was that I did certain things like working weekends. It was free advertisement, right? I'm kind of a lone wolf. I don't really like people very much. So in contrast to what everybody seems to do is that they get Saturdays and Sundays off. That's when the parks and the beach and the mountains and the traffic and people, well, not so much the traffic, but the people are fucking everywhere, man. And it's like, you know what? Why don't I take a Monday and a Tuesday off when everybody has to go back to work, the kids are in school, and you get the entire mountain or the ocean or the desert or the trail or whatever you're doing almost entirely to yourself, unless you live here in Sunnyside, California, where there's just bombarded with people. But the weather's great. That's all it has to offer. Don't come here. They hate tourists. Yeah. Thinking outside the box and working, that gave me free advertisement. You know, the neighbors would come out on a Saturday or Sunday. Hey, what's going on over here? You got a card. And it's little tricks and little things like that that you guys can figure out for yourself. Whether you're a 9-to-5er or an entrepreneur, you got to look at this. You got to think outside the box and figure out how you're going to get yourself ahead. And what are things that you can do differently, like the work in the weekends. I think that one to me is just, that's genius. It's genius to, I don't know, apply things like that. So that's one example. Another thing I want to talk about is some negatives that people have told me. And like, California is one of the worst states to do business. You know, it's expensive. It's this and it's that. There's so much regulations. You know what I say? So effing what? I think it's the first time I said effing on this show. So I'm so sorry, you guys, for the F-bombs. My neighbor just told me to, she's like, there's a lot of F-bombs coming out there. I'm like, yeah, but it's in movies, you know. It's in music. It's everywhere, and everyone loves it. Like, I don't try. It's just, this is the way it comes out. I've been listening to bad language in movies and music for my entire life. Anyways, so yeah, it's just the way I talk. But yeah, California's the worst state to be in. So what? So what? Sometimes the problem is the solution. And that's one of the things I do. I tell my clients, going back on the honesty and truth thing, is I tell them, look, I'm going to do this simple repair for you today. I'm going to make even numbers. Let's say it's $1,000 for the day to do a repair. And this is honest. I'm telling you guys. That's why you don't want to come here to California, because it sucks. Is that, unless you do what I do. So $1,000, I tell them. Well, out of that $1,000, I like to tell you that 70% of that goes to the IRS, liability insurance, CPA fees. I don't even have a lawyer yet. I should have one. But the taxes and everything, it gets strained out. So let's take a look at that, as I tell them. If a guy is coming in, which they say, hey, I got a guy who said he would do it for $250, and you're telling me $1,000? You're like 4 times as high as him. And I would say, well, California is very difficult. So if that guy was charging you $250, 4 times cheaper than what I'm doing, he's actually making maybe, I can't do the math on that. I would say it's like $50 for the day, 70%. I don't want to sit here and figure out the math, but if I did $1,000, that means I'm only making maybe around $250, $280, $275 for the day. That right there, when I explain it in detail and show them my stamps, here's my card for my liability insurance, here's my workers' compensation, here's all the stuff that I got to do, my city business licenses and all the fucking hoopla I got to jump through. I do everything by the fucking books. Those guys who are going to work for $250 a day and make a profit, do you think that they give a shit about what kind of job they're doing? No, they're just going to keep fucking rolling, and they're not paying their taxes. And guess what? What good is a warranty if the business goes out of business? What if the person just gets busted by the IRS, gets fucking shot down through ill planning? So California's the worst place to do business. Actually, you can, if you use leverage and you wait for the right type of clients, is one of the biggest things I think for entrepreneurs. Is there, you got to realize, look, there's cheap people out there that want something for nothing, and you're not going to make money doing something for nothing. I learned this a long fucking time ago. Charge what you need to, which is fair. You do not rip the people off, but you be honest, as I said earlier. You convince them, show them why they would want to hire you, but you got to charge that premium. And if you wait and you be patient, then you get the jobs that are all lined up, and it may take a while, but then you don't have to bust your ass working for nothing, which you are not making enough money. You're doing a shitty job for the client. It's a lose-lose situation for everybody. If you do what I'm suggesting here, where you charge the high premium and you wait for those jobs that are well better paying, it's better for the client, it's better for your pocketbook and everybody. So, in sum, I would like to finish off where the reason and the way that I've been able to do many retirements for the past 6 years is that I treat my personal life like a business. Like I said earlier in the podcast about meal planning, time management, monetary management, monetary planning, everything. One of the things that a lot of people say, big business people, is if you don't have a plan for a business, plan on failing. You got to have some sort of fucking plan. You got to know what's coming in, all right? That's very easy, but you also need to know what's going out, which is very difficult, and I've already done podcasts on that. But to me, it's also just as important as maintaining the things that you own, your vehicle, changing oil, rotating your tires, balancing your washing machine or your dryer, or cleaning out the ice out of your freezer and your refrigerator so they work optimally, so they don't burn out. Your pets, yourself, your health. What the fuck good is $1 million, which a lot of people are going for, if you're gonna fucking die? You know, what good are you feeding your mentals? Are you learning things? Are you investing back into yourself, not just with monetary, but with education, spirituality, and just sometimes pure joy? Just having fun so that you feel good, doing things like mini retirement, so that when you do come back to the 9 to 5 or the grind, that you're able to, you're performing like 10 times as better as if you just kept fucking going and going and going and working 10 hours a day. Everybody needs a break. But as I said earlier, I think I'm kind of contradicting myself. In order to get out of that wheel, though, you are going to have to put those hours in. You are going to have to eat shit. And it fucking sucks. It really sucks. I'm not here to tell you that it's just been fantastic. It is wonderful now, and I definitely see room for more improvement, but it was not like it was just easy as shit, and it was just a fucking cakewalk. Fuck no, it wasn't. It sucked, and it was a lot of hard work. But you know what? I am eternally grateful to my past self for giving my future self what I have now. And with that, I guess I'll stop fucking ranting here. You guys, if you like this sort of thing, check us out on Facebook. There's a private group there. I let everybody in through the gate, but I want to be able to have control and let you guys have control. It's like a forum kind of thing at the Facebook group up and in it, where everybody who believes in this sort of thing that we talk about can all share opinions and information and better each other's lives. And if somebody's an asshole, we can kick them out. So there's full control. Just ask to join. I'll prove you right away. There's also Instagram, where I post every single day to try to show you guys what an alternative lifestyle design looks like. I post stuff that you're not going to see anywhere else on YouTube or any of the podcasts or anything like that. But that's an area where I feel like I can kind of prove to you guys about what I'm doing every day. And it is getting close. We're getting towards, what is this, September 19th. Come 1st of October, I think I'm going to start organizing my house and everything and getting ready to go back to work. And I'm going to take you guys on that journey too into next year and the year after that. I ain't going anywhere, guys. I'm ready to do this shit. And I hope that my podcasts, my YouTube videos, Instagram, Facebook, and everything helps you guys and convinces you guys, I guess, that I'm not a fucking liar, and also inspires you guys that there's a whole different way of living, and we don't have to eat the fucking rotten fucking shit sandwich that society serves us. We can make our own banquet of freedom. So as I always say, don't lose your muchness. Carry on the fire. Human up. Live it, love it, own it, and bone it.